One day I was surfing the deep web, and from 10th of stories I came up to one of them that is just unforgettable. And that particular story went as follows. It was New Year's Eve, and unlikely, the restaurant was very empty. And there was that girl. We had multiple eye contacts since I entered the restaurant, and for the first time in my life, I took the initiative and went ahead to shoot my shot with her. And luckily I was. She smiled and invited me to sit in for a drink. I pulled up the chair and sat down, saying, "I was afraid that you would be waiting for someone." She laughed as she said, "And I was waiting for you to make the approach." I laughed from my heart. She had a sweet sense of humor, and her soul was sweet that it makes your heart melts. We spent nearly 2 hours talking. She asked me about the reason that made me spend the new year alone. I smiled and told her, "I do this every year. If I met someone nice, then it'll be a blessed year. If not, then it won't be a good one." Of course, I had to ask her the same question, and all of a sudden, the smile disappeared from her face while saying, "My husband." I asked her in astonishment, "Are you married?" She said to me sadly and broken, "I was married until he decided to let me go and run away with his secretary. He was cheating on me, and I knew it. I never thought that he'd actually run away and choose her over me." She drank a little more while we were still sitting, and in no time she started losing control of herself. Her voice kept getting louder and her laughter getting bigger. I grabbed her by her hand and we went out. I laid her on a chair in the bus station, waiting for any bus to show up so she can get back home. I tried to ask her for her address in order to stop a taxi for her, but she was overdrunk and could never remember any of those details to give. By this moment, I decided to take her back home with me, at least till she get a little bit better. I took her from her hand and we walked until we reached my car. I laid her in the back seat, then I drove and took the longer road in order to reach my home. I could have taken a shorter way, but this way is better and safer. I was lucky that my home is in an isolated part of the city, and this is fine. I don't want someone from the neighbors to ask me about her and why she's unconscious. We arrived home. She was asleep and completely unable to wake up. I had to go open the house door first and then go back to the car and carry her in. I woke up in the morning with her loud voice and continuous screams. And as I told you, I was lucky that there are no neighbors around. I opened the door to the basement and went down the stairs to see her. It turned out to be that when she woke up and found herself tied in the wall of my basement with chains, she was terrified. I saw her freaking out, not believing she's chained up and down to the wall. I said, "Good morning, sweetie." She shouted among her tears, "Who are you? And why are you doing this to me?" I wondered if I'm that much unremarkable to people. I met her yesterday, and she don't even remember me. I replied to her while keeping my smile, "My name is Damien. We met yesterday at the restaurant. You were staying up late by yourself and I came back to you." And before I continued, she interrupted me shouting, "I know how we met. I think I remember that. What I'm asking now is, who are you?" My smile became wider when I said, "It's good. You shortened the distances to me. As I told you, my name is Damien, and I know your husband, and I know where he and his secretary disappeared." Her eyes widened in horror as she said, "Seriously, where? You must say." I laughed on her way before saying, "You are a very bad actress. You knew that your husband betrayed you with his secretary, and you tricked them in order to catch them red-handed in your house. And after that, you killed them and cut their bodies into parts. And lastly, you buried them in the forest. Which leaves me wondering how the police did not consider you as a main suspect in the case with that bad acting of yours. But in any ways, good job. You almost did a perfect crime. But unlucky you are that I'm here and I caught you." She angrily said to me, "He had to die. I sacrificed everything for him. I gave him everything and stood beside him until he became a successful person. It is not acceptable to be that my reward." I raised my shoulders indifferently as I said, "This is not justified. Even if he betrayed you, it doesn't make him deserve to be killed." She stared at me for a minute, and then asked, "Are you a relative of John? A relative of Madeline, his secretary? Who are you?" I laughed from my heart as I said, "I am neither this nor this. I'm just a journalist obsessed with solving crimes that are tying up against an unknown. A genius, and using my gift to achieve justice." She asked me in fear, "Will you hand me over to the police?" I laughed as I grabbed the knife that was on the table near me and said, "No. I am doing justice in my own way." That was the content of the post I saw on the deep web. Nobody knows who's the publisher of the post. Neither if it's true or not. The publisher never got back online to the forum. So it's up to us to decide if it's true or not. What do you think? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell icon to receive the next stream before anybody else.